A number one hit in 1972 for our guest today, Gilbert O'Sullivan. That was Alone Again Naturally, one of 6 songs to break the top 100 here in the U.S. during the 1970s. And of course, he's had tremendous success all over the world as well. Now, he hasn't toured here in the U.S. in decades, but after a few one-off shows in New York City and Philadelphia last year and a U.S. release for his latest album, he's ready to embark on his first extended tour this coming April. In fact, we haven't heard much from Gilbert O'Sullivan in terms of radio interviews either. So welcome back, the elusive Gilbert O'Sullivan.
Hi there. Nice to be talking to you.
Yes, you as well. You know, I mentioned these shows you did in New York City last year, and I know the reception was incredible, which is partly why this upcoming tour is happening. And there seems to me to be this special relationship with your fans here in the U.S.
Yeah, it's special because of the reaction that I get continuously for people who like my songs, and over the years, despite records that haven't been released in America, they get them online or they get them sent over to them. But it stems, I think, from the love of Alone Again. Alone Again is very much America's song. I mean, you could argue that the most popular song in the UK of mine would be Claire, but the most popular song in America would be Alone Again. So it's pretty much your song. But historically, my touring of America, I mean, the first major tour in '73 on the back of those million-seller records was a disaster. It was a wonderful disaster. And it kind of, there was a big vacuum that was created because of that. And but in the last 10, 15 years with the band that I have, a really good band, we've worked hard to get back to America. But again, with a band, it's pretty expensive. Yeah. So the kind of nice thing with the release of this album was that we went out with just my guitar player and myself, very intimate, up close and personal show. And that's working out really well. People are really enjoying it. And that's what happened in New York and Philadelphia last year. The reaction we had was tremendous. And that's why, luckily now, we've been invited back to do these extra shows and get to the West Coast for the first time. So,
you know, we had some of the session musicians who played on Alone Again Naturally on this program some time ago. And one of them we didn't have on because he's passed away, but was a legend in Great Britain, and that's guitarist Jim Sullivan.
Yeah, Big Jim.
Big Jim, yeah.
You know, Jim, God rest his soul, he passed away some years ago. He played that classic guitar, and a wonderful guitar player. In fact, Jim actually made an album way back in the 70s called Sullivan Plays O'Sullivan.
Oh.
So he did an album of instrumental album of all my songs and stuff.
That's
a wonderful guitar player, absolutely.
It's funny, the longevity of Alone Again is remarkable. It seems to pop back into the public's consciousness every few years, or maybe it just doesn't leave and it ebbs and flows.
Yeah, and what kind of helps with that is the covers. For example, the recent Diana Krall and Michael Bublé version. These are popular artists. The Neil Diamond version, he did a really nice version. And going right back to people like Sarah Vaughan did a fantastic version. You have Nina Simone who did a version of it. You have Bobby Darin who sang and stuff. So, you know, you can go right back to early 70s artists and stuff who've recorded the song right up to the present, as I say, with Bublé and Diana Krall and stuff. So, and there's something really nice about that. It kind of, and also syncing is interesting because, you know, your song can get put into a film if you agree.
Right.
And that song can introduce you to an audience who have no idea who you are or had no idea who you were and may want to find out about you having heard your song in the film.
Yeah, I want to play for the audience that Bobby Darin version. It's really something else. Listen to this. That's new music from Gilbert O'Sullivan. From his recent self-titled CD, we heard the song The Same the Whole World Over. Now, were these songs percolating for a number of years and then you just decided to go into a studio and record them? Or did you sit down and say, this is my musical statement at this moment and we need to get this on tape?
Well, again, it's you know, when Ethan Johns, the producer who produced the album, came to my home up to the music room, he needs to hear the songs before he agreed to work with me. And so he would just hear the melodies. And the thing is, when you pick 10 or 12 songs, what you hope amongst the 10 or 12 songs is that you have the variety. You have the slow, you have the medium, you have the fast, the rocky, the ballad. That's very important. And I'm capable of doing all those kind of things because I like to feel as a songwriter, which I spend a lot of time doing, that I can come up, much as I'm good with a ballad, I can come up with rockier stuff, which gives the variety. As it works in live in the concert, we do something like 30 songs on the show in a 2-hour show, and so there's all kinds of, there's variety. There's fast, there's slow, there's funny, there's serious. So I think that's important to have that in your ability as a songwriter.
Well, I'll tell you, hearing these new songs, and I mean this as a compliment, it doesn't sound like much time has passed. I mean, you sound incredible. You sound like you did on your debut, and there is a timeless quality to the music. It doesn't really sound like it's locked into the production style of 2020. I mean, it lives and breathes, if you know what I mean.
I think it helps with Ethan's production, the analog approach. We recorded on tape, so everything was recorded on analog. And as you know yourself, compared to CD to vinyl, there's that thing about you get the warmth from vinyl.
That's true.
So likewise, if you record on analog, you get that warmth. So I think that comes across. And people have made a comparison between this album and my very first album, which was a huge success himself. And that's nice. I mean, I sit back and I'm amazed by the reaction from some people, but it's very positive, and I'm really happy, and it's a good way for me to continue going, because I feel I'm working hard to maintain a kind of standard. I'm 73 years of age, but I'm as a songwriter, I'm still that 21-year-old hustling. So, and that's important to have that, because if you have that drive, that enthusiasm, I think that's very important. I have a brill building mentality when it comes to writing songs. And it's very important. I've always maintained that attitude. 9 to 5, sit there, play the piano for however long till you come up with a melody. Do the Irving Berlin thing. Put the good melody in a trunk. A good melody will survive. But if you finish a lyric and you don't use it, that could be dangerous. So don't finish a lyric until you know you're going to record it and stuff. So that's pretty much how it works.
Well, you're going to be back to work in April here in the U.S. You've got, just locally for us, the City Winery in Philadelphia on the 13th, and then the City Winery in New York City on the 15th. And for you folks up in Massachusetts on the 16th. Boy, you're all over the place. That's going to be a busy couple of weeks for you there. But where can people go to your website, I guess, to get more tour information?
I guess so. I don't even have a mobile phone. I've got no idea, but there's a good site with all that kind of information. I mean, I'm very, what do they call it? I'm not
a technophobe, or?
Yeah, I'm the opposite.
A Luddite, okay. Yeah, so am I in a way. GilbertO'Sullivan.co.uk. That's the website to go to.
Right. There you go. Yeah, I think my daughter looks after all the social media side stuff, so she has to get me to do things that I don't necessarily want to do, but I know it's important. So she leads the way.
That's what
me
you
to
see.
Do things.
Yep, you got it. So you got to put the kids to work. That's excellent.
Yeah, I know.
They know all that stuff. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and we look forward to seeing you in April.
Are you going to come and see us?
I am.
Well, if you're going to come and see us, you must come back and say hello and stuff.
I certainly will. I'll be there for the April 15th show.
Oh, brilliant. Good talking to you. Bye-bye.